Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine Wyrick and I am your joy coach. And I want to share how I took my life from completely in shambles and turned it around, rewrote my story to gain control and to live fully in the present. And I want to show how you can do that too, so we can all live our best and most joyful lives. I upload new videos every Friday. I would love for us to continue to get to know one another, so go ahead and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a new video. You can also find me on Instagram. My handle is @JasmineYWyrick. I'll also drop that link, and my new blog, new website, and I'm very excited for you to see it because it is brand spanking new and I think that it's absolutely gorgeous. And that website is www.jasmineyvettewyrick.com. I will drop that in the links as well in the description below. No matter where we meet, I really just appreciate you stopping by and saying hello. Today, we are talking about the top 3 skills that you need to thrive at work. It doesn't matter if you work corporate or retail or anything in between, these tips are essential to thrive at work. So let's get into it. Skill number 1 is going to be understanding and vocalizing your boundaries. Why is this important? Okay, so if you've been with me for a while, then you know that boundaries is my love language. Once you understand your boundaries, you know what your value is. Let me say that again. Once you understand your boundaries, you know what your value is, and you can speak to that. It is what you will and will not do, and also what you are and are not okay with. Vocalizing your boundaries, speaking to them, and letting others know what your boundaries are is so important, but it's also so very hard because that means that you have to say, okay, take a deep breath, say it with me, no. You have to say no, and you need to get really comfortable with being able to say no, because otherwise your boundaries are just going to flounder and fail, and nobody wants that. That's a lot of energy to put towards something that you're not even quite serious about yourself. My mother always says that a closed mouth doesn't get fed. She's very true. She's very right on that. I say that a closed mouth is often overlooked. Don't be a closed mouth. Say what you need and express what doesn't work for you. You will be so much better off without it. Skill number 2. Managing your time effectively. Do you typically have a hard time completing your tasks? Or maybe you're rushing to beat the clock? Or worse, you're staying late to finish your projects. I've been there, I know. And while sometimes it can't be helped, it really does suck. Learning how to be more effective with your time and also understanding what you have the capacity to do and not to do will keep your stress down and make you a much better employee. You'll also be a lot happier. Not to mention, you'll also be the apple of your manager's eye. If you struggle in this area, don't worry. I know, it takes a lot of practice to master. I have a time blocking like a pro webinar just for you. And so don't worry, I'll go ahead and link it in the description box below so that you can access it and manage your time as effectively as I know that you can. Okay, last skill. Skill number 3, giving direct and actionable feedback, both up and also down. Okay, so what does this mean? Giving direct feedback is being as clear as possible with the feedback that you are providing to someone else. And then actionable means that the feedback is so clear that you know what are the next steps to find the solution or to have the solution and act on it. And then both up and down, and this is something that a lot of people really do struggle with, is being able, if you're a manager or you have a team, is to be able to give direct and actionable feedback to your team, to disperse it to your team. And the other way, if you are an individual contributor, that means that you know how to give direct and actionable feedback to your manager. That is incredibly important, and also it's incredibly valuable. It's a valuable skill to be able to do and to do effectively. And I'm going to tell you how. So imagine you are working on a PowerPoint that have to go into a presentation that is going to be due later in the week. You spent a lot of time and energy researching and putting together facts and percentages and all kinds of different information into these slides, and you're really proud of your work. You go to deliver the project to your manager and they take it and they say nothing. They just take it and you're like, okay, well, no news is good news, and you go about your business. Come time for the presentation later in the week, you find that your manager has gone through every slide and yours are missing. After the meeting, you go up to your manager and you ask them, well, what happened to my slides? And your manager says, well, I didn't really know how to tell you, but they weren't really good, and so I decided not to include them. How would that make you feel? Irritated? Pissed? Confused? Hurt? Devalued? Yeah, all of the above. Of course you would, and you'd be right to feel all of those feelings. If your manager had just given you direct and actionable feedback, maybe a day after you had given your slides for the presentation, you would have been able to correct them. You would have been able to make the necessary adjustments and give them back to your manager so that they would be included in the slide and you would feel like a valued member of the team. The same thing goes for delivering feedback up. So in this same scenario, the manager should have delivered the appropriate feedback so that you could get better at your job. That's giving feedback down. Now, for up, you have a responsibility to deliver the feedback so that you can let your manager know what best works for you. Go to your manager and deliver the feedback and let them know how you felt about your manager's actions. It's incredibly important to make it as simple and as clear as possible. How that made me feel. I didn't like that. It made me feel devalued after all of the time that I put into those slides. The feedback of how your manager's actions made you feel and what they could do in the future to better support you. People who know how to give and take actionable feedback are much more valuable than those who do not. It's also important to remember that it's not just how you give feedback, the words that you use, but it's also how you give the feedback. What is your tone like? What are your intentions? Does your tone and intention match the impact of the feedback that was received? Are you being harsh and overly negative or overly positive? That's no good either. There is a balance in giving actionable feedback. Avoid giving negative feedback with no solutions. Not only does it not feel good, but it's also really close to complaining, and that's never a good look. If you find that you struggle in one or more of these areas, I can definitely help with that. These skills are fundamental and not always easy to put in place. And once they're perfected, you will thrive where you are. Go to www.jasmineyvettewyrick.com and book your complimentary visualization session. I'll link this in the description below. Okay, that's all I have for you this week. Be sure to like and hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any new videos. You can also find me on Instagram and on my website, and as always, I will link everything below. Thanks for hanging out with me and see you next time. Bye.